Is there such a thing as a shoe for slower marathon runners? What is actually a slower marathon runner? Because slow is relative. I'm slower compared to many people, and many people are slower compared to me. Lots of questions, and this shoe supposedly will answer some of them. Let's review the Salomon S Spectur. Hey everyone, and welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex. In today's video, we are reviewing the Salomon S Spectur. This is a shoe that is a super shoe for slower runners. Unlike many of the super shoes out there, geared towards the super competitive, super fast runners, this is a shoe with very advanced technologies, but designed to suit the needs and the preferences of slightly slower marathon runners. And by slower marathon runners, this I think is the first important discussion that we need to have in this video. Salomon says that this shoe basically will work for anyone running around 5:30 minutes per kilometer for their marathon pace, so 8:30 minutes per mile if I do the conversion right. It's not very slow, to be honest. I ran my first marathon at a lower pace than that. It was a bunch of years ago, but many people today are running their marathons at slower paces than that. So I wouldn't call it a shoe for slow marathon runners. It's just a shoe for sub 330, sorry, sub 345 marathon runners, maybe. If you are looking for a shoe to run a 5-hour marathon, this may not be the right pick for you. At least Salomon doesn't claim it's the right pick for you, and I will try to address that question. Looking at this shoe and looking at its specs, we have 38.5 millimeters of stack height in the heel, 8 millimeters drop for that 30.5 millimeters in the forefoot. I must admit that I feel like it's a bit lower than the claimed numbers, especially in the heel, but we'll come back to that. And 8 millimeters, good choice I think for a super shoe, especially for slightly slower paces. Weight of this shoe, 235 in a sample size US 9 and 277 in my size US 11 EU 45 1/3. Don't forget about the 1/3 with Salomon. If you are picking your shoes, don't be surprised about these 1/3 and 2/3 in their sizing charts. Looking at the upper of the shoe, it's a nice upper in the Salomon fashion. What I'm trying to say by that is that the upper itself doesn't have anything too fancy. It's an engineered mesh, nice material, quite breathable, feels nice against the foot inside the shoe, good heel lockdown, good heel padding, and a nice heel cup overall. I like the material, no big issues about it. I think the laces could be a touch more fancy, especially compared to other Salomon shoes and in general compared to the industry standards nowadays for super shoes. When I'm referring to the upper in the Salomon style, it's mostly referring to the fit. It's a long fit. Salomon is really famous for their very long fits and quite narrow here around that forefoot down to midfoot area. It's the same here. You can go half a size down if you are looking for something a bit shorter, and you should probably go to your true to size if you have a bit wider fit. In general, if you have wider feet, I think you should avoid this shoe or make sure you try it before purchasing it. For narrow feet and average width type of fit, this is going to be okay. But keep in mind, this is on the narrow side of things, but running quite long. Other than that, the upper actually works quite well. It's soaking up a bit of water when you are running in it. Despite feeling plasticky and like water repellent, some water will get in there and will stay in there during your run. Looking at the midsole of this shoe, and this is where most of the magic is happening, you have one first layer of Energy Foam Plus. It's P-BAD just like on the S Phantasm 2, the high-end super shoe from Salomon. And then you have that energy blade, as you can see here, coming with a winglet on the lateral side, but also on the medial side right here, you have that extra support provided by the plate. Not only does the plate act like a propulsion element in the forefoot when you're pressing in it and moving forward, it's also acting as a stabilizer both on the lateral and medial side, which is a good thing. And then last layer, the layer that's closer to the ground, is regular energy foam, a blend of EVA and OBC, olefin block compound. It's stabilizing the ride. It is also acting as that a bit firmer, close to the ground element that will stabilize the ride and act together with the other foam to make it a not too soft ride and a ride that has some kick to it, some energy return to it. That's the plate, but that's also, as always, the foam, and the foam combination feel, that dual layer of foam here, is creating that equilibrium of ride snappiness, of ride energy return, and it's a good thing. Now, how does it ride in real life? Let's say at the claimed perfect pace for this shoe, 5:30 per kilometer, 8:30 per mile, somewhere there. It's a very pleasant shoe, no doubt about it. I don't know how it would feel if 5:30 was my marathon pace, but for me 5:30 is my easy recovery pace, and I am enjoying this shoe at these paces, no doubt at all. When I'm picking up the pace, this shoe is becoming even more interesting. It's more snappy, more energetic, more interesting. It's providing you with that feeling of being faster without using too much energy. Very nice. That being said, at my specific marathon pace, No, I don't think it's the right fit because there are other shoes on the market that I have tried, even the S-Lab Phantasm 2, that are a bit more accurate when it comes to how they respond to my marathon pace, if that makes sense. So yes, I think this is a good marathon shoe for slower runners, but not too slow, because I think if you are very, very slow in this shoe, you will lose the benefits of its advanced technology. However, if you are in that 5:30 minutes per kilometer type of pace, yes, I think it's a good choice. It's a choice, however, and this is coming to the drawbacks of this shoe, it's a choice that will take you a bit closer to the ground. I don't really think there's 38.5 millimeters of stack height in the heel. You feel the ground a bit more, and especially, and this is probably my biggest concern, that will require you to work a bit more with your forefoot, with your foot in general. There is the assistance of the plate, there is the assistance of the foam, but as you can see, this shoe has a bit of rocker, but feels quite flat here in the forefoot area and requires you to push quite hard on your forefoot to move forward. I like it, this is my running style, but if you have a higher cadence, if you are expecting a bit of more of that shoe assistance moving forward, this shoe doesn't have it. So keep in mind that depending on your running style, it will or will not work for you. I'm not sure if I enjoy the concept of one shoe per pace. I think shoes can do many different paces, but here it's a good statement. It's a good case study as well with that regard. Outside of this shoe, contact grip rubber, like on many other Salomon shoes, I found it a bit grippier on this shoe specifically. So good job if Salomon changed it, or maybe simply my taste or my style has changed of running when it comes to how I'm gripping here in the forefoot, but nice rubber compound. My other shoe, the one I used, has 65 kilometers on it. No signs of wear and tear. A tiny bit on the heel, but here in the forefoot, very, very clean. And I suspect it will have a decent durability. I wouldn't rate it as a high durability potential type of shoes, but yeah, there you go. €220, $220, if I remember well, which I would say is so-so because yes, it's cheaper than many super shoes, but it's also in that ballpark of 10 or 20 euros less would be ideal. This is not bad, but you know, keep in mind that you have other shoes in a very similar range. Even the Salomon S Phantasm 2 is slightly more expensive and brings you a different experience. So it will really depend on what you're doing with the shoe to justify or not the price. A price that, again, I don't think is bad, but I think could have been more ideal at a very, very tiny difference compared to this baseline. I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it makes sense. It's a tricky one to do because, again, it's not really my marathon pace at which this shoe is targeted. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your run today. Enjoy your ride. And let's link to the review of the Aeroglide 1. The Salomon Aeroglide 1, I think, is a nice shoe and a nice review to watch. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your run today. Enjoy your ride and go beyond your limits. I'll see you in the next one.